chapter 7, verse 22. And it shall be answered, because they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, and laid hold unto other gods, and worshipped them, and served them. Therefore had he brought all this evil upon them.
And now it's to the point where Jake don't even call it evil no more, man. Jake is at such a low estate, he don't even call the stuff that's being done to him evil, man. Jake will kill each other before they kill the so-called white man. You know, not that we preach that, but it just it shows you the value that the nation of YAHAWAH has for itself, man. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans don't value themselves, man. A nation of men that have no value for each other, man. Men who oppress each other in their own nation, man. And then you ask the so-called white man for help. But you treat each other worse than the so-called white man treats you, man. Right. That's a hypocritical nation. That's childish, man. That's very childish. You can't show love to your own brother, but you'll ask Starbucks to give you a coffee when they profile you, man. You'll ask Starbucks to give you some justice, man. Or you'll ask the so-called white man to give you some justice when he has a track record of not giving you justice since you got here, man.
That's right.
If I can say something,
you got it out.
What's going with you saying? Like the brother said about being childish. It's very childish, and what's synonymous with being childish is unwise. Because the thing is, you're not supposed to be doing wickedness to anybody, right? But listen, you really not supposed to be fucking over your own people. Like if you are gonna do some shit, what you shouldn't do, your people should be the last people that you should actually try to fuck over, man. And that's the thing. Every other nation understands that, because even other people in other nations, they get at each other, they do shit, but they know at the end of the day, when it's time to go against, you know, someone else, they gonna come together and put their differences aside and get on the team. But Israel is so childish and unwise that they don't understand that this is a team effort, man. That's why you can never get along, and that's part of the curses as well, man. Not understanding that you have a team, man. Whoever you are, the Most High put you on a team, man. You got something, Salaki?
Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you,
right,
do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what the law, the foundation of the law is based on loving YAHAWASHI with all thine heart and loving thy neighbor as thou love thyself, man.
Right.
You know, and the Lord has destroyed our people to the point so much that they don't even love themselves. Literally, the nation of Israel are not even capable of loving their neighbor, because they literally don't love themselves, man. And the proof is in their fruits, man.
Good point.
Our nation is stepping on their own toes, man.
I guess we're getting famous.
As they're being oppressed, man. They're stepping on their own toes, man. You're killing your own nation off, man.
Right.
And that's why the Lord called us sottish children, man. The nation of YAHAWAH as a nation, that's a childish thing to do, man. Yeah. To do things that you know will hurt your own nation, man. And then to ask your oppressors for mercy, man. But see, that sentiment is the sentiment of the nation of Israel, man. And that's the spirit.
Right.
That she came up like that, man. Because the Lord said, this is the condemnation of the world, that light has come in the world and men love darkness rather than light, man. She ran from the light like a roach, man. But that's a witness to our nation, man, and their wickedness and their rebellion, man.
Leviticus 19 and 15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord, Yahawah.
That means
thou shalt not hate thy neighbor. Thou shalt not hate thy neighbor in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
And that's why the Lord put the spirit on a third of the nation of Yasharahla, man, because it has to be told. Their iniquity has to be told to them, man.
Right.
They have to acknowledge, whether they hear it or forbear, they have to be told what's being done, man. That what's being done in our nation is a breaking of the basic fundamentals of our laws, man.
Right.
Because if you actually value yourself, you wouldn't treat your brother like that, man. To glorify a culture of adultery is wickedness, man.
Right.
You breed violence and confusion in your own nation by doing that, man. And these things, these fundamental things are the things that the Lord has taken away from our nation in the spirit, man. Because we didn't keep the first fundamental law, which was to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, man.
Right.
So he took away the brotherly covenant, man. That's why Negroes don't get along, man. That's why Latinos don't get along, man. It's all spiritual, man. But our nation has become carnal beasts, man. They become like their father, the devil, man. Even though it's to their downfall, they still do it, man, because it's all about the lust of the flesh in this world, man. This world isn't about righteousness, man. It's about pleasures of the flesh, man.
Right.
Just like all the civilizations before it, man. It's all about the lust of the flesh. Integrity isn't valued here, man. Being a stand-up, sincere person isn't valued in this world, man. You can be wicked, you can be dumb as a box of rocks as long as you got money.
Right.
That's folly, that's vanity, man. That's vanity, and it's hypocritical for people to speak things of integrity on one end, and then through actions show something different, man. Women to get on the internet and say they want a real man, and then go for anybody who got substance, man. That's simple. Just like the ones of our nation who hop on Instagram and say something deep about how our nation need to come together, and then come out here on weekends and fight and hate their brother in their heart, man.
Yeah.
That's hypocritical, man. And then on top of that, ask the oppressors to treat you well, man. That's an all-out offense, man.
Tobit chapter 4 verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, their seed shall inherit the land. Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not take, well, it goes on about not taking a wife. That was the point.
But that shows you the folly of this world, man. That shows you the folly of our nation, man. Because every nation, all the heathen nations are truly in their natural state, void of understanding, man. The Lord raises particular nations up to fulfill his purpose. But at the end of the day, the understanding of this world is only given to the nation of Yasharahla, man. And they have rejected that. And because they've rejected that, they are the only nation that reject each other, man. They're the only nation that can't come together as a nation of people, man. And that chapter in that verse right there was beautiful, that whole section, because it shows that the father was exhorting the son and reminding him about the past, man. To consider the righteous forefathers of your nation, man.
Right.
To think nation-minded, man, not individualistic, man.
Right.
Because that's Yasharah's Achilles heel in this world, man. They think individualistic, man. I want to be rich, and then I want to show it off and show off on my own people.
Right.
That's not rich.
It's whack as fuck.
That's lame, man. That's lame to get a whole bunch of money and then go to a club and take a man of your own nation's woman who's working a 9 to 5, man. That's oppressing your own people with substance, man. That's wicked, man.
Yeah.
That's completely wicked, and then make songs about it and glorify it, man. That's completely wicked and destructive, man. And if you're gonna carry yourself in that kind of manner, don't go out here and protest. Don't riot. Don't ask the so-called white man for nothing because you can't treat your brother better than the so-called white man. That's hypocritical, man.
Tobit, chapter 4, verse 5. My son, be mindful of the Lord our power, Yahawah, all the days, all thy days. And let not thy will be set to sin, or to transgress his commandments. Do uprightly all thy life long, and follow not the ways of unrighteousness. For if thou deal truly, thy doings shall prosperously succeed to thee, and to all them that live justly. Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any of the poor, and the face of Yahawah shall not be turned away from thee. That's it.
Come, man. And that's our nation is supposed to conduct themselves with the mindset and the memory of our righteous forefathers, man. We're supposed to consider our righteous forefathers, and that's why our culture didn't celebrate birthdays, man.
Right.
Because better was the end of your life, man, when you actually completed the race, man, and kept a good name from the beginning to the end, man, and saw your life through in righteousness, man, and preserved to yourself and your house a good name, man. Jake has lost the old paths, man, the old ways of our ancient fathers who respected and had respect unto their household, man, and realized that they were a representation of their house, and on a bigger view, they were a representation of their nation, man.
Right.
Our ancient ways were far above the ways that we have now, man. And because we've been here so long, Jake has forgotten that and become comfortable with this individualistic mindset, man. That as long as I'm straight, it don't matter about what happens to the rest of my nation.
Right.
I'll get me a house in the suburbs and forget about the wickedness and the destruction of my people. But then you pass down a heritage to your next generation, and eventually it's destroyed. Because that's not nation building. You can't pass on generational wealth with an individualistic mindset, man. Only thinking of yourself.
Right.
In our ancient culture, we didn't do that, man. When you get into it, Jacob did that, received a blessing, and it benefited us. Esau didn't even consider his descendants at the moment, man. Esau was so hungry and insatiable that Esau made a quick second decision thinking of himself and not his nation. Now we know it's according to prophecy, but all things were written for our learning to consider, man. Jacob was actually considering the blessing and ambitious enough to, even though it was prophesied that he would receive it, he was ambitious enough to think about receiving a blessing that he could pass down to his ancestors, man. I mean, to his descendants. Esau was completely insatiable, man. Only thought about himself, man. He said, what good has this inheritance to me if I'm about to die? And our people have taken on the mindset of Esau, man, where they only think about their individual selves, man. If you look at the kingdom of Esau, the elite of Esau succeed, and the other commonwealth of Esau are considered heathens, man. And they're in their glory right now, man, which is why their glory is shame, man. Because everything that the hopeful elect are doing now is going to establish even the common man of Yahshua in the future, man. But Esau has done all of the wickedness that he's done to become a nation just to give the riches to a few, man. All of the genocide, all of the slavery that he's done to establish himself as a nation of people, and only ones that truly benefit are the elites of this nation, man.
Right.
The Lord has given Yahshua a kingdom where even the commonwealth are going to be set up on high above the heathens, man. The common man of Yahshua is not going to be working with the heathens, man. In the kingdom of heaven, even the lowest, it said even the least shall be 1,000, man. The least of you, man. The weak among you shall be a strong nation, man. That's the mercy of YAHAWASHI. That even though Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans don't want their heritage, the Lord's gonna show them mercy, man.
Right.
And that's why they're gonna have everlasting shame and contempt, because they did nothing to deserve the mercy that the Lord gave them, man. They're gonna consider their wickedness and how the Lord took them from pure destruction to righteousness, man. You know?
Baruch chapter 5 verse 1. Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of thy mourning and affliction, and put on comeliness of the glory that cometh from Yahawah forever. Cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which cometh from Yahawah, and set up a diadem on thine head of the glory of the everlasting. For Yahawah will show thy brightness unto every country under heaven. For thy name shall be called of Yahawah forever. The peace of righteousness and the glory of Yahawah's worship. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about towards the east. And behold, thy children gathered from the west to the east by the word of the Holy One.
He texted me and said,
rejoice in the remembrance of Yahawah. But they departed from thee on foot, were led away of their enemies. But Yahawah bringeth them unto thee, exalted with glory as children of the kingdom.
Yeah, and that's what the hopeful elect are doing now, man. They're putting on the double garment now, because the Lord has given them the spirit to follow after righteousness and have faith, man, which is the evidence of things not seen, man. The Lord has put the spirit on the hopeful elect to not, even if they can't see the kingdom with their carnal eyes, that they in their members, deep inside their members, they understand that there's a kingdom to come, man. There's we look for a new heavens and new earth, in a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. And the Lord has put 1/3 of our nation in that mindset, man. 2/3 of our nation, they just gonna love Blackish, Instagram, all of the vanity that comes with this world, because they can see it, they can taste it, they can touch it, they can feel it. That's like the guy in the Matrix that wanted to go back into the Matrix, even though he was given the reality of his situation, man. He said, I know it's not real, but I still want it, and I don't want to remember anything, man. Right. And that's why our nation don't want to watch slavery movies. They don't want to watch the history of how they got to this country. Right. Because it's a reminder that they're still in that position, man. Our nation would rather just look at what's tangible. Instant gratification, man. And that's the nation of Israel's problem, man. They always wanted instant gratification. They didn't want to believe in a God that they couldn't see, man. They didn't want to believe that there was a kingdom that they couldn't taste and touch and feel yet, man. Right. But the Lord is establishing our nation in an everlasting salvation, man. Something that's not going to end. And with that takes great work and labor, man. And our nation, and 2/3 of our nation simply have no patience, man. Zero patience, man. It's not enough that YAHAWASHI has destroyed us. The curses won't make them come back. Then neither will the blessings, man. Because the Lord has separated 2/3 of the nation from his hopeful elect, man, from his elect. You know, it says, I have kept me a grape of a cluster, man. And spared me a plant of a great people, man. Because with great labor have I made it perfect, man. Because when this testimony is written, it's going to be written about the third of Yasharallah that stood for righteousness when the rest of our nation was engulfed in wickedness, man. That 1/3 of our nation actually stood for something, while the rest of our nation just played a part, man. Just played good ass slaves, man. In the land of their enemies, just forgetting all of the history and generations of destruction, man. And for a little bit of wealth, our people have sold themselves for naught, man. Because this isn't wealth, man. What the Lord has in store for the nation of Yasharala, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans will far exceed the so-called white man's kingdom, man. His kingdom is decadent, man, destroyed, man. And the Lord has called us to prophesy about this, man, to tell our people the good news, man. That there's gonna come a time where we're gonna be saved from our current position, man. Where the so-called, all of these other nations, the heathens, will no longer oppress us like they did before, man. Because that's what happens, man. Every time Israel goes off, man, the nation of, all other nations rise up above us, man. And we get very low. That's why our nation doesn't value wisdom, man. They don't value integrity. They don't value things that are fruits of the spirit, so to speak.
Right.
They value things that they can see, taste, touch, and feel, man. And they've built a culture around gathering substance and looking like they're rich in front of their own people, man. They've created a culture like that, man. A culture where they destroy each other systematically, while the so-called white man is doing the same thing to them on the other end of the spectrum.
Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, said the Lord Yahawah, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then ye shall call upon me, and I will go and pray unto and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, said the Lord Yahawah, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places where I have driven you, said the Lord Yahawah, and I will bring you again.
Yeah, because in this world, the Lord has hid his face from us, man. The Lord has hid his face from us as a nation of people, man. Even though our sins are ever before the Lord, man, as far as help and salvation, the Lord has chosen an acceptable time. But as of right now, the Lord has hid his face from us, man. And because he hid his face from us, we continue to wax old and defiled in a strange land. Our nation is led as a sheep to the slaughter, man. And they laugh at their own redemption, man. They laugh at their own solution, man, without even knowing. But that shows you that the Lord honored David's prayer, man. He made their own salvation a stumbling block unto them, man. A snare, man. It's gonna come a time where Yasharala is gonna be glorified, man, and the 2/3 of our nation who have been rebellious, man, they're gonna feel terrible for the way they conducted themselves here, man. They're gonna feel real low, man. Because they passed by the love, the genuine love, the sincere love of the creator of the heavens and earth, man. They passed by the mercy and their own solution, man, the healing of their wounds, man, as a nation of people, man. You got it,
You have something, Uncle?
It's Isaiah 43:3. For I'm the Lord thy God, Yahawah, the Holy One of Yasharala, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Sheba for thee. Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee, and people for thy life. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east, and gather them from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Everyone that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yeah, I have made him. Bring forth the blind people that have ears, and the deaf that have ears.
And that goes back to Isaiah 6:9 when the Lord said that go tell these people eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear. But it shows you that the Lord is dealing with a particular part of that nation still. Right. That's why he said the deaf that can hear and the blind that can actually see. Because the Lord has given us, we were blind We were deaf for a moment spiritually, but now we're back into our understanding, into our proper understanding, and this is the beginning of a kingdom being established as the Yahshua according to prophecy. Our nation has waited for this, man. Since we lost our glory in the garden, really, we've waited for this, man. The Lord has labored meticulously in great detail, man, to bring us to this final moment, man. To our finest hour, so to speak, man. You know, we've lost our heritage since Genesis, man. And because of that, we've waxed old and we've been comfortable in this destroyed state without realizing that the Lord has so much more planned for us, man. And it's only through His mercy that we're able to even receive that blessing, man, because we really don't deserve it, man.
Right.
All this mercy the Lord showed us, and we still turned our back and dealt treacherously, man. It's not that Israel was just sincerely making mistakes. Israel was wicked, man. Israel was purely wicked, man, and they're still being wicked to this day, man. That's why it's the mercy of Yahawashi that we're even able to know who we are, man. Mercy. And all of this is really the Lord's mercy, man. Because we don't deserve nothing. If you actually read our heritage, man, we don't deserve anything, man.
Right.
This is the scriptures say this is a light affliction compared to what we actually deserve, man. For Israelites to be in the land of Israel preparing sacrifices before they did a wicked act, to premeditate sacrifices before you committed a transgression, man, is wicked, man.
Right.
That's extremely wicked, man. And not even the heathens would do that to they false gods, man. Right. That's why I said somewhere in the scriptures, if this were another nation, they'd have turned back already, man.
That was kind of fun, yeah.
They would have got right already, man. But Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans don't want to rule, man. They don't want to rule or rulership. They want to look at Black Panther on TV and fantasize about rulership. They don't want to do what it takes to actually have that play out in the reality of this world, man. And really, that's what Yahshua is doing, man. Esau is a wanderer and a vagabond according to wickedness. But 2/3 of our nation are a vagabond and a wanderer according to righteousness, because they're running from their blessing. They're running from their right to rule, man. And it's shameful, man. It's shameful. That's why it's all according to the Lord's mercy, man. That's why King David talked about the mercies of Yahawah so much, man. Because as great as the Lord is, man, even greater is His mercy to us, man. Our nation don't deserve anything, man. We deserve to continue in bondage here, man. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Dumb and in bondage, man. For what we've done, for all of the wicked acts we've committed, man. None of the heathens have ever had a power that could split the seas, man. Or bring water from a rock, man. That's why the Lord constantly reminded our nation of the things that He did for us, because the heathens don't have a power like that, man. But they faithfully go to their temples to worship something that doesn't speak or can't deliver them, man. But Yahshua would not faithfully serve the Lord, man. That's why all of this is according to the mercy of Yahawashi, man. All of this is according to his mercy, man, because we haven't done anything to deserve any of this, man. As a nation or as a hopeful member of the elect, man. Our sins are ever before us, man. And that's why it says that we will bear the reproach because we've sinned against Yahawah. The hopeful elect are reminded of their iniquities every day, man. Because the Lord has opened their understanding to see that they're in captivity, man. It says, he that increaseth wisdom increaseth grief, man. And surely oppression will make a wise man angry, man. The hopeful elect are constantly reminded of their own iniquities and the iniquities of our nation, man. Every day you wake up and have to play a role and survive in this society is a testament to our wickedness, man. And instead of being proud like the rest of our nation, we're trying, man. Which is all Yahawashi is asking for, man. A sincere heart and effort, man, and faith, man. That the Lord will make good on His promise, man. But what?
20 smoke shop.
See? Yahawah just want to sit out here and smoke something, man. He ain't got a house to sleep. He ain't got a house to sleep in, bro. But he want to smoke something, man.
Right.
But that show you the pride of the nation of Yahawah, man. That they've made their heads hard, as stiff as an adamant stone against YAHAWASHI. man. That no matter what the Lord do to our nation, they're not gonna turn back, man. And that's why the Lord has given us understanding to consider these things, man. To consider that the only solution for 2/3 of our nation is death, man. They have to be they have to be put down and brought back up in righteousness, man. Because they refuse to consider their ways. After every captivity we've been in, if it was any other nation, they'd have turned back already, man. But the Lord has promised us that we are never going to be ashamed again, man. This is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. But Yahawah shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. And that's what the Lord has promised us, man. Because for us to understand that we've been wicked, man, we have to bear our shame, man, every day. And it's different when you're out here in this world and you don't realize that your nation is being shamed. And it's another thing to actually know that and have to live through it and wait to be delivered, man. That's the bitter part of the journey, man. But the Lord said in Esdras, this is Israel's portion, man. How can you get the wide if you won't go through the narrow, man? We've put ourselves in this position, and we have to be patient and be humble to make it out of this position, man. And wait on the Lord's mercy, man. You know what? This is Lamentations chapter 3, verse 27.
Hold on, bro.
It is good for a man that he bear the yoke of his youth. He sitteth alone and keepeth silence. No, I'll start up. This is Lamentations 3 and 25. YAHAWASHI is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of YAHAWASHI. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke of his youth. He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him. And that's what the hopeful elect realize, man. That our iniquities have separated us from our power, man. Verse 29, he putteth his mouth in the dust, if so be there may be hope. He giveth his cheek to him that smiteth him. He is full with reproach. And that's what we're filled with, shame, man. As a nation of people, we're filled with the shame of our transgressions, man.
If my father's 80% European,
you are who your father is. And your father is who your father is. It goes by the seed of the man. There's no percentage.
Okay, so my father's father was from Europe, Italian.
Just because he's from Europe and he's Italian doesn't mean he's not from this nation. You realize Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were spread across the four corners of the earth.
Got it. And I also have Native American ancestry, 10%.
Well, the thing about ancestry is that the Lord, according to the truth, who you are is your father. The man carries the seed. So you're not a percentage of different land masses. You are who your father is.
So what does that mean?
So that means that according to the Spirit, you're not a percentage of a lot of different land masses. You're a seed.
So I'm mostly European.
You are who your father is.
What's your father? If I can say you real quick.
I didn't. He's 70% European.
No, where is he from?
Dominican Republic.
Your father's from the, okay, where?
But his father came from Italy to the Dominican Republic.
Do you know anything about his father?
They came from Italy.
So that's as far back as you know?
Italy. They were in Spain first. Italy, Spain, and then to the Caribbean.
Well, the thing is, you trace back the history, you had the Moors living in Spain.
Right, okay.
They took over Spain.
Right, for 20 years, right?
Yeah, now the Moors were a mixture between North Africans, Israelites, North Africans and Israelites and some other people. So it could be any group of those people.
All right, because I got depressed when I found out my DNA test. It was like shit.
But the DNA, I mean, it depends if it's mitochondrial DNA coming from the mothers or coming through the father line. Usually they use mitochondria, if I'm not mistaken, which is the mother's line.
Are you recording this? I don't approve the recording.
Well, we're recording ourselves.
Oh yeah, well, we'll continue what we was doing.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, man.
Cool.
We're open to questions. If you have a question, man, we're open to answering questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, and through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, if he's of the nation of Yasharallah, man, he'll be in the kingdom, man. You know, he didn't stick around long enough to be tried by the spirit, man. But that shows you that even the basic fundamentals of understanding have been taken away by Esau's wine, man, by gross darkness, man. Because people have this conception that they're 20% of this, 30%, 80% of another landmass, and they're a big mixture, which goes back to that Tower of Babel thing, man, where we all one people, man. Because if Esau can feed you a doctrine that you're a mixture of everything,
right,
then you don't have a nation to claim as your own, man.
Confusion, man.
That's confusion. The Lord separated the sons of Adam, man. It was never meant to be a conglomerate of nations, and whether people receive it or not, you are who your father is. There's divisions of nations, man. There are particular nations because a seed breeds a particular spirit, man. That's why the nation of Esau, it said that the elder shall serve the younger, and the one shall be stronger than the other, man. And those spirits keep being regenerated back into the same family line, man.
Honestly, you should have ran. Really different.
Because that would breed confusion if you got put back into a line that wasn't your nation. Because what if that nation's going into captivity? All of that breeds confusion, man. And the Lord is not the author of confusion, man.
Can I say something?
You got it.
Like the brother's saying, like if you read in the scriptures, you don't see, you know, Peter talking about I'm 25%, you know what I mean, Judah, and 35% Ephraim or whatever, you know. That's like the brother said, it's confusion, man. The way that you really should be saying it is, I'm the son of this man. This is my father. His father is that God. His father's 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 father is that God. That's the order. You would never have any confusion. You can read in the scriptures about in Chronicles and everything with all those lineages.
Yeah.
Am I right? Is that it wasn't no this guy was 35%, then he was with this chick and he was, you know, she was 45%.
Hey, 420.
It was all about an order, man. The son of this man, the son of that man. Noah, then Shem, you know, and so on and so on and so on. You have something out? Go ahead, bro.
This is Numbers chapter 1, verse 18.
Right.
And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month.
Right.
And they declared their pedigrees after the families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their poll. As the Lord commanded Moses, so he numbered them in the wilderness of Sinai.
Exactly. As Moses, as the Most High commanded Moses. So you got a guy talking about on 35% and a half this, and 42% and a half that.
Wait a minute, okay.
That man is not speaking from wisdom, man, according to the scriptures, because it's confusion, man. Percentages, what does that mean? How do you even conjure up the percentage that you are like that, man? Like it's some damn math problem. No, you have a father. You have one father. And guess what? He had one father. And it goes all the way up. Simple. But like the brother said though, it's kind of ingenious to have it that way that the white man got it, because you're all confused and bugged the fuck out, man. And you don't know what side you stand on. You got people that's, you know, like they say biracial or whatever. They like, I don't know whether I'm on the black side or I don't even know if I'm on the white side. My dad's black, but you know my mom's white, so you know I'm kind of like on the white.
Right.
Fuck all that, man. You got a father, man. That's it. This ain't no skin tone type shit, man. Yeah, all different shades. Go ahead, everybody.
2 Chronicles chapter 7:31,
right.
verse 17.
Right.
Both to the genealogy of the priest by the house of their fathers.
Simple. Woo. That was straight to the point.
But that show you in the ancient world, man, they dealt with houses, man. Right. When you identified yourself by the house of your father. Your whole reputation was solely on your father, man. But on the house of your father, man. That's why they call YAHAWASHI the son of Joseph, man. It was your name was synonymous with your house, man. And even now with last names, it shows you that's an origin of houses, man. Because you assume the last name of your father, man.
Right.
You know, you don't have your most people don't have their mother and their father's last name. They assume the father's last name, man. Because you are who your father is, man.
Right.
But Esau has done that because now you can confuse the people, you bug them out, and now they don't have a nation to be loyal to. Because they took a swab from a Q-tip,
right.
sent it to some Jews, and they told you was they rolled the dice, and now you're a percentage of everything, man.
Right, right.
And because you feel like that, now you don't even consider yourself black.
Right.
That's why you have dark Negroes in the ghetto saying that they're not black. They mix. They got 30% Cherokee and some shit like that, man.
Yeah. Right.
That breeds confusion, man. But that further destroys the nation. That further destroys the minds of the people, man.
That's right. It's another device, man.
Exactly. And this is the fruit that all of this confusion produces, man. This is all of the fruit that all of this produces, because people think that it's innocent, but it's the conglomerate and the combination and the multiplication of all of this wickedness that really gives you what you have here today, man.
Right.
No matter where you go, wickedness is right there, man. It seduces you. Whether it be a religion, whether it be a philosophy, whether it be a so-called education, man. All of this is meant to bring you into one government, one body, without a nation void of any nation or any loyalty to any nation, man. Because that's the end goal of the elites, man. They're picking up the same torch that all the other heathen nations have had, which is trying to have all people be one nation and forsake their customs, man.
Right.
Which is completely against the will of the Heavenly Father, man. And all nations have tried to do this, man. Nimrod was one of the first, man. And every nation that has got up top, they've tried to do the same thing and failed. But there's no discernment in these people or our nation to realize the track record of failures when it concerns world governments, man. When it concerns bringing all nations together, man. When it concerns building a civilization on wickedness. Every nation that has been built on wickedness has been destroyed, man. There's not one that continues from the ancient world, man. All of these are regurgitations of the last wicked civilization, man. The Lord will raise up another nation, and they'll pick up the same customs, the same wickedness that got the last civilization destroyed, so they can be destroyed. But this world is void of judgment, man. Folly is set in great dignity in this world, man. Folly is set in great dignity in this world. Because it's set in great dignity, the understanding and the actual truth of anything is shunned and stuck in a dark corner, man. But now the Lord is raising up prophets now to bring out the truth, whether people hear or forbear. And as you get closer to the end, prophecies are going to be made manifest, man. All the comforts that this world enjoys are going to be taken away from them, man. And they're going to have to consider the words of YAHAWASHI that he gave through the mouth of the prophets, man. They're going to have to consider that, man. Right now, everybody's proud because it hasn't rained yet, so to speak, man.
Right.
The people in the days of Noah were proud because it didn't rain yet. But it's gonna come a time when all of this comfort and all of the text messages and everything else is gonna stop. Martial law is gonna be instituted, and you're not gonna be able to go where you want to go. Food is gonna be scarce. You're not gonna be able to eat when you want to eat. You're not gonna, the women are not gonna be able to call 911 to save them from their predicament, man. And all of the wickedness that has been sown is gonna be reaped, man, in one fatal swoop, man.
Why would you do that? Why would you say, let's go to the goddamn place?
This is
across the street that's fucking close.
1 Samuel 2 and 3. Talk no more so exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. So these people perform the acts that they perform because they don't consider that their actions are being weighed and considered by a higher power, man. They think that the Lord is some fable that man made up to feel to explain things that they couldn't explain, man. But in actuality, the Lord has created this place for his pleasure, and he weighs the actions of men, man. He considers the ways of men. And he does not need man's validation to justify his existence, man. The movie doesn't tell a director that he has to reveal himself, man. People watch a movie and the director don't come out from behind the camera and say, look, I made the movie. The iPhone didn't create itself. With all of these things that are seen in plain sight, man, you would think that the people, the minds of the people, would understand that there's a higher power, man, and consider the higher power and his purpose and his judgments, man. But the wine and philosophy of Esau has drowned this world, man.
I got a precept.
You got it.
Did you finish on that?
Yeah, I did.
Brooklyn!
Ecclesiastes 8 and 10, and so I saw the wicked buried who had come and gone from the place of the holy, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done. This is also vanity, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall...
That's what, you got it off.